Man, I tell you what, these Democrats, the media, they don't know what to do. And it really is fascinating to watch because you're sitting back, living your life, and you can actually see them in real time trying to craft narratives and stories that are so weak that it's actually laughable. And it just goes to show you they don't have anything on Donald Trump. Not that they had anything on him before, but the difference is they had the bureaucrats, they had the deep state, they had the CIA, the intelligence apparatus behind them fabricating stories. You know, like the Hunter Biden laptop, having the intelligence agencies, the top leaders sign the letter. And then they are also paying off, the FBI was paying off informants just to fabricate an entire story about the Russia hoax. I mean, they can't do that anymore. And so now you're seeing them have to resort to text messages and then trying to find something on Pete Hegseth again. It is actually fascinating to watch because they don't have anything. We're going to break everything down for you today, folks. It's good to see all of you in the live chat. Look at everybody rolling in, baby. The Bald Brad Army strong. You're here for the entertainment, you're here for the spiciness, and you're also here for the fun and the news of the day. Let me wet my whistle a little bit. It is morning. We are one of the earlier podcasts here, and if you're first to be here, it's your first time, well, welcome. Let us know in the chat so we can highlight you. We love you. Hopefully everything's loud and clear, folks. Let's do this. Our first bit of the day, let's go over like a little bit of a morning brief here. Let's kind of break down Trump's Liberation Day, Doge's PR battle, and then we'll just dip our foot a little bit into self-deportation. Now, Donald Trump has been shaking things up for the federal workforce and economic landscape, ending union rights for many federal workers and preparing to impose sweeping tariffs this week, tomorrow. Left-wing activists are ramping up their Tesla takedown protests as new investigations unveil the powerful entities behind the movement. We've always said, is this a Soros-funded thing? Like a lot of these protests? Because what's happening is, through these investigations, they're going to these Tesla protests, but also just other protests as well. And what they're noticing is there's people leaving like right at a specific time. All of them will leave exactly at a specific time. So, for example, let's say I go, hey, we're going to be protesting from 8 a.m. to noon, and I'll pay you for it. You know, I'll pay you like, I don't know, $20 an hour. I don't know what they're paying. And then you're done. You can go home. You know, I can go home at noon. Everybody can go home at noon. Well, that's what's happening is everybody, all the protesters out exactly when the clock strikes noon. They're peacing out. Left-wing activists are ramping up their Tesla takedown on Monday, folks, March 31st. And this is the news you need to start your week off with, right? You have here Trump's economic executive orders. Top line, President Trump signed an executive order targeting many federal worker unions as his sweeping tariffs are set to take effect this week. And I'm expecting some results in a negative direction on the market, which might already even happen right now. The move stripped collective bargaining rights from a wide swath of federal employees. It will not apply to all federal workers, just those who work for agencies with national security missions, including Department of Defense, State, Justice, Homeland Security. Now, this is kind of interesting because a number of large federal unions have made clear they will do everything possible to slow President Trump's agenda. That's bonkers, man. The government going after the government. It's not the first time we've seen it, but boy, oh boy, is it messy. Like Joey's diaper. Launching dozens of lawsuits to block his efforts to cut spending through his Department of Government Efficiency project. Other unions negotiated deals with the Biden administration that are still in effect, but run contrary to the Trump administration's agenda. That's Joey's, parting gift. Like the whole idea that, oh, you can work another 4 years without showing up to the office. That's fine. Nobody knows what you're doing at home. A lot of them were working second, third jobs. What I mean by that is, well, you're not really working your first one. You're not really working your government job. And then what they were doing is they were running businesses while they were working or on the clock, and we were all paying for it. The White House says this order will ensure that agencies vital to national security can execute their missions without delay and protect the American people. God, can you imagine you have actual agencies inside the government that are going against President Donald Trump? I can, because it happened the first term. Isn't it amazing, though, that even when you have a bunch of agencies that are for a president, say like Joe Biden, that they still couldn't get anything done? That is why government is so terrible. It doesn't matter if you're for the guy or against the guy. You suck at your job. And that's why a lot of them should be fired. Trump added that while he supports constructive partnerships with unions who work with him, he will not tolerate mass obstruction that jeopardizes his ability to manage agencies with vital national security missions. I actually agree with that. When you're messing with somebody's safety, when you're messing with national security, yeah, I would say let's just get rid of you altogether. Because it does make you wonder, who's your allegiance to here? Is it to the United States of America? Or is it some foreign adversary that maybe you're swindling some paperwork to on the side? Makes you wonder. Some people are doing it. We've covered the stories. Hours after the order was signed, 8 federal agencies filed a lawsuit in Texas calling for a judge to void their existing contracts. Those deals will remain in place while a case is heard, but we could see action quickly. I don't remember all these court cases with Joe Biden. I don't remember all these court cases with Barack Obama. Maybe they existed, but it's funny that once you start firing people, you're doing mass layoffs, you're having Doge look under the hood here, all of a sudden the judges rise up to the occasion, because that's not an exactly quick and easy firing, is it? So now you have rogue judges, and it's amazing how all of them, almost to a T, are Barack Obama appointees, maybe a Biden appointee. It's just funny how that works out, isn't it, Patriots? All of them are like that. Huh. Weird. So they're looking into that. And now here's Doge PR battle right here. You got to love how they're putting out signs right here that say basically to deport Elon Musk, who's an American citizen, by the way. So now you have the left not only going out and protesting green energy, go figure that one, but they're also protesting deporting an illegal immigrants, but they're doing so by saying they want to deport a legal immigrant. Then they're also protesting Tesla by damaging the vehicle of the same people that actually support their initiative. So liberals are attacking liberals. I mean, Donald Trump derangement syndrome it runs so deep that they're actually cannibalizing themselves. They think it's a winning agenda, Patriots. They think it's a winning agenda to go after other liberals' Teslas out of the namesake of we don't like Elon Musk and Donald Trump, without the thought ever that Republicans and conservatives by far don't even drive Teslas. We drive trucks. Do I look like a guy that's going to be driving down the street? Hey, George, in my Tesla, and I'm trying to like rev it, you know what I mean, to show up. It sounds like a vacuum. Yeah. No. I'm muscle, baby. So, who's more likely to be driving a Tesla? Conservative or a liberal snowflake that's dressed as a woman? And then what they're doing is they're attacking those Teslas of the guy that's dressed as a woman. Well, that's only going to piss the guy that's dressed up as a woman, dressed up as like a woman. And he might go vote for Trump. I don't know. This guy's just sticking out like a sore thumb right here. I don't know this guy. But like, impeach President Trump. Now, here's the problem. Sorry, President Musk. She might actually think that Musk is president. That's how deep Trump derangement syndrome runs. We're not sure what she thinks. She probably doesn't think much, but probably getting paid off nonetheless. So a new report finds that influential left-wing political organizations are paying for the Tesla takedown protest that continued all over North America and Europe this weekend. While the Doge team gave its first interview on Saturday, there were hundreds of anti-Tesla demonstrations worldwide, even down the street from me. From Chicago to Germany to Australia, Turnout for these events varied considerably, from a handful of aging protesters waving signs that said things like, "No one elected Musk." Well, we did. We did actually elect him. Donald Trump on the campaign trail said, "Hey, I want Elon Musk to utilize Doge to basically go in and cut government spending and look for fraud and waste." I mean, I couldn't tell you how many times the guy said it on the podium. We all voted for it. We were all giddy in here. We looked like a bunch of people that bought all the Girl Scout cookies. She had nothing left and we're feeding our faces just in excitement. We were just as excited as Joey was when Joey sniffed his first kid. Okay? That we were ecstatic. Now, we don't sniff kids here. We're not like Joey, but as an analogy of happiness, that's where we were. And we were so giddy. It was like our first time putting on our water wings and going into the pool. So no, we did vote for the guy. And drive Tesla out of business to larger actions in major urban cities in New York City. The objective is to hit Tesla CEO Elon Musk, Trump's biggest donor, where it hurts, while urging him to back off his activities on behalf of the Trump administration. Now, he is taking a hit. That one is for sure. But Musk will be leaving April, I believe in May. If memory serves me correctly, I think he can only serve 130 days in this position, and then he's out. That doesn't mean Doge will be done, but he will be done officially as basically not an administrative role, but basically somebody gives advice. And it's slipping my mind. It's early. In response to Trump's Doge initiative, Musk leads appear to be pivoting its PR strategy initially. Musk said that he wanted to keep Doge analysts out of the spotlight to protect their privacy and safety, which is a good thing to do. But on Friday, Doge leaders sat down with Fox News' Brett Baier, giving Musk a chance to dispel the image of Doge as just a bunch of young, rowdy tech bros. And boy, was he wrong or were they wrong? Because these aren't just bro tech people, man. These are like former CFOs, CEOs of major companies saying, "Hey, you got a massive problem under your hands." So we watched a little bit of that. Well, check this out. A new report in Fairfax Times found that Takedown Tesla actions have been almost entirely bankrolled by well-known leftist activist networks like the Invisible Project, which organized 29% of the protest, as well as MoveOn.org, the Disruption Project, and local Democrat Party chapters. Now, if you go to my TikTok, and some of you have been, I appreciate you, you will see me talking about Tesla, or even in some of my videos here, and you will see people write, "Well, how do you know they're Democrat? Prove it. You don't know it." And I keep telling them, just go talk to the people yourself, and they will tell you that they voted for Joe Biden and Barack Obama. They will tell you that they are hardcore lefties. They love it. Some of them will just tell you that they're socialists or communists. They don't give two shits. These people are crazy. Without me going down there with my cell phone and get my ass kicked, right here, you have the receipts. And by the way, we didn't need the receipts to know that these people were Democrat. We didn't need the receipts to know these people were progressive. Only progressives take their hands and dig in their butt and wipe doo-doo and caca on cars. Conservatives don't do that. I don't think I've ever seen a conservative dig in their ass before. Republicans don't do that. Hell, I would go as far as independents don't even do that. No, that is somebody with Trump derangement syndrome, and that is only triggered through a Democrat. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. Now, we also have self-deportation push. I don't know how realistic this is going to be. I'm not against it. I think utilizing all avenues that you can to get people out, I'm all for it. But they're estimating 14 million people in the U.S. illegally, double that number easily. This is the number most likely that just came under Joe Biden. So no, it's not 14 million. It's probably 28, 25 to 30, I would say, somewhere in that range. The Trump administration wants to convey many of them to self-deport. That ain't going to happen. But is the message working? A new report suggests it is. Well, maybe Brad is wrong. Maybe Brad should shut his mouth every once in a while, huh? A new report from the New York Times found that the administration's self-deporting messaging might actually be working. It seems that the length of time spent in the United States is the most influential factor. Long-term illegal residents are unlikely to leave, but more recent arrivals such as those who crossed the border under Biden, appear more likely to be swayed by the administration's message. Recent deportation flights to El Salvador seem to have an effect. Homeland Security Kristi Noem recently posted a video, which we watched, of her at the prison. Well, I want everybody to know, if you come to our country illegally, this is one of the consequences you can face, which is a rough one, man. That image was a big deterrence because a lot of people know about that prison, especially in South America and lower. And all the way down to the pits of hell, they know about that prison. And boy, you don't want to go there. Do not come to our country illegally. You will be removed and you will be prosecuted. But know that this facility is one of the tools in our toolkit that will be used if you commit crimes against the American people. And man, that is the deterrence, dude. That's the type of deterrence that we need here in the United States as well. Just heads up, is those types of prisons. It's not supposed to be a place where you just to go get you get to relax for a few months or years and get full meals, bedding, your laundry done. We've seen some of these places, folks. They look like hotel rooms. They got TVs, they got a whole library, nice food. They roam around, they get workout equipment, they're playing soccer. Now, not every place is like that. Some of them are pretty horrible, I'll be fair, but, you know. Additionally, hundreds of foreign students have also voiced support for Hamas and have also been encouraged to self-deport. Secretary of Rubio said the green cards and visas of about 300 students have been revoked so far. Yeah, good. Get them out of here. It's amazing how somebody can even I don't know what the word would be, but even get upset over the United States wanting to remove somebody that's a full supporter of terrorism. It boggles the mind. It really does. Well, in other news, before we jump into it, if you're enjoying what you're hearing and seeing, hit that like button. We're a one-man show here. We got a bunch of patriots in the chat, which is always awesome. If you're new to our channel, you got to get in the chat and have a conversation with everybody that's there, because we do have the best chat, I think, in social media. And that's not something I'm playing up or talking about. I've been in other people's chats, okay? I go incognito in other people's podcasts. We have the best crew with us here. These patriots have your six, and they're fun to talk to, and they're funny as hell. You just got to come in the chat and read it. Even if you're at work, just pull up the chat so you can see what people are saying. It's freaking bonkers, not in a negative way. So come hang out with us. We would love for you. Come join us. Come hang out with the party. Party it up. Now, you see, as you see in the title, Trump, I wasn't sure if he was serious. Trump is serious about this. We got to wet the whistle. Trump is dead serious about running for a third term. It's possible. It actually is possible. I will go over this really quickly, and then I will give you my honest opinion. Trump can run a third term in theory. In theory, he can, as long as he didn't already have consecutive terms. So, for example, like Barack Obama did 2 back-to-back terms, right? Consecutive. So even if Donald Trump came in, well, Barack wouldn't be able to run here. He's already ran 2 consecutive. But if you're Trump, he ran a term, then Joey came in, and now Trump is here. So they weren't consecutive. He did a leap. So in theory, what he's going to try to do is have this be his consecutive term, and he could run for a third term, is kind of my understanding of what he's going to try to do here. It's never been done. But Trump does the impossible quite often. And he's serious about it. A lot of people would like me to, Trump says. And this is the Trump derangement syndrome might escalate. There are methods for him to get to a third term. Oh, shit. Could you imagine? President Donald Trump told NBC News on Sunday that he's not joking about a potential third term, but added that it's far too early to think about another run. Trump, who became only the second U.S. president to win 2 non-consecutive terms, would need the Constitution to be altered for him to be sworn in for a third term, the 22nd Amendment, passed by Congress in 1947 after FDR was elected to 4 terms, leave it up to a Democrat to do 4 terms, right? Prohibits presidents from being elected more than twice. However, the 78-year-old president told NBC News that there are methods that would allow him to effectively be reelected in 2028. And I'm telling you, they're spazzing out, folks. They're starting to get the jitters. How could he? What a dictator. When asked, Trump acknowledged that one of those methods would be backing Vice President J.D. Vance in 2028 so that Vance could hand Trump the reins. Holy shit. That's one method, Trump said, adding, there are others too. The president declined to explain what the other methods could be, according to NBC News, but touted his poll numbers, adding that a lot of people would like him to run a third term. So basically, you don't even have to have J.D. Vance step down. I mean, hell, you could, in theory, have Trump just run as vice president and basically be in control as much as possible as a vice president could be, which isn't that much. But if JD's willing to do what Trump says, which I don't think would happen, but it's something. It's definitely innovative. Trump was later asked by reporters about his comments on a third term and quipped that running for re-election again would be sort of a fourth term. I've had more people ask me to have a third term, which in a way is a fourth term because 2020 election was totally rigged. Correct. So it's actually sort of a fourth term in a certain way. I just don't want the credit for the second because Biden was so bad. He's so good. Oh, hold together, Brad. Oh God, he's the best. He did such a bad job. And I think that's one of the reasons that I'm popular. Trump doesn't, you know you're a bad president when Trump doesn't even want to claim victory after coming after you. Oh, that's great. I think I'm popular because we've done a great job. He added, we've had the best 100 days of any president. Despite remaining slightly underwater, Trump's current job approval numbers are higher than they were any time during his first term, which is good. So it looks like he's holding almost a 48% approval rating, which is nice. One of those pushing a third term is Andy Ogles. Just days after Trump took office in January, Ogles introduced a joint House resolution pushing for a constitutional amendment, revise the limitations imposed by the 22nd Amendment on presidential terms. So, what is Brad's opinion on this? Funny enough, I was actually talking to my mom about this late last night. Now, let's see what the chat, let's see how well you guys know me. We've been here for years. Some of you have been with me for years. Do you think, a Y in the chat, do you think I support Donald Trump having a third term? So you would say, yes, Brad, I think that you do support Donald Trump having a third term. Or put a no in the chat if you think I don't support it. Let's see how well my people know me. Let's see. This is kind of fun, isn't it? Do you know your host? Wow, my crew does know me pretty well. Yeah, you guys know me pretty well. Damn. Now, to be fair, I have answered it in the past. But don't let me take your thunder. Everybody's saying no. Correct. I do not support this. Now, I've said it in the past, very loosely, but damn, you guys know me. I told everybody we have the best crew here. Not only do they know me, I know them. The reason why I don't support it, and I've said this in the past, is because this could come back and bite us in the ass. Now, I'm not saying Joe Biden's going to crawl out of his grave and out of his crypt and start running for a second or third term. That's not what I'm saying, but somebody else could. Now, Barack Obama couldn't because he ran the first 2 consecutive, right? But depending on the language of the third term, in theory, he might. And you know the Democrats would be salivating to get Barack back in office, just salivating. I don't want that. I love Trump, guys. I voted for him for 3 times. You know this. We do the Dark MAGA podcast, which will be today. It is Tuesday. It will be at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, so long as I'm at home on time. You know I love the guy, and he is the best president in modern history. My heart would, internally, it would be freaking awesome to have him as a 3rd term. Like, do we get another 4 years of this? You're telling me I get total of 12 years with Donald Trump? Hell yeah. But it's not, no, it just shouldn't happen. We have a deep bench. We have people that could take his spot. He has sons. We have JD Vance. We have Vivek Ramaswamy. I mean, we got a litany of people. Ted Cruz. Marco Rubio's really stepped up to the plate. I think Marco has gained a lot of people's respect for what he's done as the, not press secretary, but the Secretary of State. So we don't need Donald Trump to run a 3rd term, and he's going to be there, right? He'll be there for advice. He'll be there for somebody that could come and visit and help the workings and maybe even be a part of the team. I don't know, but I don't think it's a good thing. So I hope that he doesn't go forward with it. And not that I think the amendment would change anyways, but that's my take. Well, here's some updates now. Now we're actually getting into the news. Jeez, folks, God, we got to make this show 2 hours. I can't. Not until summer. When summer hits, we'll probably go 2-hour-long shows because I don't have, we got to work. We got to make money. Got to make money. Let's do this. Let's do this really quick. Got to make money. When I hear money, it triggers me to talk about Rumble. And Rumble takes good care of us here, and you guys take good care of Rumble. So this sponsorship is from Rumble themselves, one that is incredibly important to the survival of the company, and I keep mentioning this. When Rumble first started in 2013, it was a platform built for small creators such as myself. They didn't censor or have biases. They were fair and treated all creators equally. No one thought platforms would censor political conversation or censor opinions on COVID, but they did. Facebook literally admitted to it. They fell to the pressure of the Biden-Harris administration. Rumble did not, though. Rumble held the line, and they are attacked daily for giving us a voice to talk to you. They are attacked by corporate media. They're attacked by governments like France. They are attacked by governments like in South America. They're attacked by brand advertisers who refuse to work with them. That's a major problem. Corporate America is fighting to remove free speech. Folks, TikTok is actually restricting accounts right now of all conservatives, including me. You can actually verify and look it up yourself. Rumble is fighting to keep it. Rumble won't survive with brand advertisers. They don't get much of it, which is a major problem. So watching our show over at Rumble is the most they can ask of you. But if you really believe in the fight and you have the means, one major way you can support them and help Rumble survive is by joining Rumble Premium. Join the community that believes in the First Amendment and believes in one human right to free speech. Rumble is offering $10 off with promo code STUDIO, all caps, when you purchase an annual subscription. Go to rumble.com/premium and use promo code STUDIO, all caps. Like I said, if you have the means and believe in the cause, we would love for you to join Rumble Premium. But if you don't, you just watching us over at Rumble is, the most that we can ask of you. And thank you so much for joining us over on Rumble. If you're new, hit that follow button on Rumble. It's free. You can subscribe over at YouTube, but screw YouTube. We're trying to grow our Rumble following over there because YouTube is heavily shadow banning us. And we'd love for you to join our community. We also have memberships. We'd love for you to join. Any help is valuable to us. We got a lot of things that we pay for here. So everybody that contributes, that's members and donates to the show, greatly appreciate everybody. Thank you so much. All righty, here's some updates. You got Snow White. Dude, the theaters are empty, man. They are so empty. You can just look at them yourself. Thank you. Smash the like button. Snow White fell off a cliff during its second weekend in theaters, with ticket sales dropping 66%, which is remarkable because nobody went and watched this shit anyways. How do you go from nobody in the theater to dropping further? If nobody's in the theater, what is there to drop? There's nobody there. So it's close to 50%, right? We'll say there was on average, this is how I'm going to play some stats here with you. I'm making these numbers up, okay? But 66%, we're trying to make sense of this. 3 people on average went and saw a showing. 3. What this is saying is 2 of those 3 people weren't there the second week, meaning there was one person sitting in an amphitheater of a movie theater watching the movie by themselves, which is legitimately what has been happening. Disney looks no closer to recouping the film's $270 million production budget, folks. That doesn't include marketing and all the other stuff, which does not include months-long worldwide marketing efforts. Snow White brought in just $14.2 million over the weekend. Oh my God. That is so bad. This is going to get pulled quickly because movie theaters don't want it. You're taking up theaters. Nobody's showing up. You could pull another movie. Folks, you can actually pull an old movie and replay it, and it will do better than Snow White. You can actually pull a movie that everybody's seen before, and it will do better than Snow White. These disappointing numbers come on the heels of a lackluster opening weekend for the massive Disney production, as multiple controversies saw the film making headlines for all the wrong reasons, which we know. It premiered with just $43 million domestic, which is actually more than I thought. They were projecting 45 to 50, and if you recall, I said, no, they're not going to hit 45, 50. No way. It's almost like your host, the bald Brad, knows what he's talking about. Now, to be fair, they hit 43, which was close. I didn't even think they'd hit 43. I thought they would be in the 20s or 30s, to be fair. So, but you know, you get the guys dressing up in their wives' clothing and all weird and stuff, right? Playing it off as they're straight, but in actuality they're trans, and they've been going incognito for years. And this is their hype part. This is where they get their stimulated ishness, whatever the hell you want to call it from. And they had to go out and support, the community. They had to go out and support Disney. So everybody with Trump derangement syndrome went and saw Snow White. Did anybody in here see Snow White? Did anybody come out and see Snow White? I want to know who you are. It's okay. It's okay. Pat, George, Jeff, Dizzy, anybody want to say that they went and saw Snow White? Notice I'm picking all men. Women, you have an excuse. No? Weird. Nobody, huh? Jason? No? I think you're all lying. I think they're lying. Ladies, what do you think? Do you think the boys are lying? Do you think they went? I bet you they went. They're liars. They probably put on lipstick, you freaking psychos. just, I don't even know why I said that. You know I love you. Oh, hell no, liars. Look at you. Liars. Watch, there's a thing leaked of me sitting in the theater eating popcorn out of a Snow White bucket. Could you imagine? I got popcorn and candy in my beard. I have like glitter on my face. Whee! Dressed as a dwarf. I'm all singing along. Oh, God. All right. Well, we got more news to cover. Enough of my shenanigans. I don't think they're lying. Yeah, neither do I. All righty. Well, we got updates on Russia here. If you recall, I have so much fun with you guys. God, I wish we could go longer than an hour. Russia's responding to Donald Trump because Donald Trump told Kristen Welker yesterday that he was pissed off with Putin for Putin's handling and criticisms of basically his handling of Ukraine and Russia. So we have this response here. And I haven't read it, so I'm actually kind of nervous because I want this to be resolved. People are dying. I mean, guys my age and some of your ages in the chat are on a battlefield right now, fighting for their lives over this. I'm trying to keep it PG. Over this knucklehead's advancement to take soil, land. So some guy is out there fighting for dirt. And then the other end's just fighting to just stay alive because they're the ones that were invaded, meaning Ukraine. Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov responded to President Donald Trump's criticism of Russian President Vladimir Putin, saying on Monday that Russia is still working on a peace deal with Ukraine, but added that it's a time-consuming process. Why? Who is making it a time-consuming process? Who is not willing to bend the knee? And let's be fair, we know who needs to bend the knee. Ukraine is not winning this. Everybody knows, especially without us. Now, pretty much Trump's like, look, I'm cutting you off. That's why there's something weird going on. There's something weird with Ukraine. Ukraine's getting some backing. I don't know if Donald Trump's backing him behind the scenes and we don't know it. Something weird's happening. Because it doesn't make sense to me that you have this superpower here, meaning Russia, and it's taking this long to have Ukraine bend the knee. Something wonky's going on here, and I don't know what it is yet, but it will come out sooner or later. In remarks to NBC News on Sunday, Trump threatened to impose secondary tariffs on Russia if the country fails to come to an agreement to the end of the bloodshed in Ukraine. Trump also said he was very angry, pissed off with President Putin, and started getting into Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky's credibility and started talking about new leadership in Ukraine. Asked about Trump's comments, Peskov told Reuters, "We are continuing to work with the American side, first of all, to build our bilateral relations, which were badly damaged during the previous U.S. administration." Yeah, but you already had a relationship with Trump when he was president, so don't act like you have to build this relations again. You already have the relationships with Trump. Now, I understand that you're like, well, the U.S. has been kind of dickheads, sure, with Biden, but so have you for going to invade a country. And we were also working on the implementation of some ideas related to the Ukrainian settlement. This work is underway, but so far there are no specifics that we could or should tell you about, which is true. This is a time-consuming process, probably due to its complexity. Well, that is very generic. What I do like, though, is that they weren't attacking Trump. It doesn't seem like Vladimir Putin's too upset with Trump saying that he's pissed off. It is going slow. And I think Trump's frustration is in a right spot because his whole goal, I mean, he's not in the war, right? We're not even there. Well, I shouldn't say that. I'm sure we have agents on the ground. I'm sure we have CIA boots on the ground in some way, shape, or form. But in terms of us having a ton of people, right, actively being into this war, it just shows that Trump just wants peace, man. He just wants peace. Everybody get along. But for some reason, people can't do it. They can't do it. And again, it's all for land. I mean, we're in 2025 and we're fighting for land. Now, if you were to fight for natural resources, maybe an argument. Maybe your country is short on resources. You're going down the pooper. Last ditch effort. You need the land. That maybe I can get. Because at some point that would happen, right? Natural resources, whether it's water, precious minerals, doesn't matter. At some point on Earth, there would have to be some sort of war for natural goods. So maybe there would be an argument. I don't agree with it, but I'm just trying to build one. Ukraine is about oil, not land. Yeah, that could be true. But the thing is, Ukraine doesn't have any cards. It's like Canada. Canada or Mexico. You can name one of them. Doesn't matter. Their chest is puffed out like this, as if they're a big dog, but they're not. They're scrawny. They're like an ant. And they're acting like they have actual say around here. It's kind of like the press and the White House press briefings, pretending like they have a say of when they get to ask a question and where they sit. It's almost like there's a transition. Because White House will decide which reporters get briefing room seats. I thought this would have happened quicker. I don't know what the lag is here that we're waiting like 100 days to do this. And I don't know if there was some sort of involvement with the White House Correspondents Association of pushback. But let's break this down because this is going to change the dynamics of the room where some of these people on the side that are with like Steve Bannon's War Room or like her, Kara's with Lindell TV. You have Margaret with the Daily Wire over here. And you got a couple other people like OAN right here. You know, they might actually get seats here. And our boy Phil maybe might get pulled forward, which is nice. And somebody needs to tell Caroline to be more like polite to Phil because Phil's actually one of the good guys in the room. And for some reason, she kind of treats him, I don't say wrongly, but I just don't like her tone. And maybe I'm reading into it because I like Phil so much. In a major break from established tradition, the White House will now decide which reporters get the coveted seats in the briefing room, not the White House Correspondents Association, which I am all for this. A senior White House official told Axios that the communication staff has formalized a plan for a fundamental restructuring of the briefing room based on merits more reflective of how media is consumed today, which means there's going to be a lot more podcasters. There's going to be a lot more, outlets like maybe Daily Wire, Lindell TV, Steve Bannon War Room, those types of OAN, those types of outlets. The White House's new layout will include reporters, there you go, from digital outlets, print outlets, TV, and more. The digital group includes new media outlets, according to Axios, the Daily Wire, Axios itself, Semaphore, I never heard of that, and influencers. Maybe we'll get in the room. I ain't flying all the way across the country, by the way, to not get a question in. You ain't getting me to do that. I ain't flying all the way over there. 5+ hour flight, right? Because then you got to sit on the airport, and you got to get off the plane and probably sit on the tarmac for 2-3 hours. No, sir. I want my question in if I'm going there, and I want to meet Trump. If I'm flying all the way over there, I want to meet Trump. I'm demanding. Can you imagine me next to Trump? That's what the picture would look like. I'd be so giddy. Woo! The goal, I would ask Trump, can I, that little black kid that survived cancer and he got being part of the Secret Service? Mr. President, can I be a part of the Secret Service too? I'll protect you. Get my little squirt gun, walk around the White House. Who are you? Oh, you're JD Vance. You're good. Who are you? Just stopping everybody. Showed off my badge like I'm that scene from Wayne's World where they're going backstage. Showed everybody the badge. Well, the goal isn't merely favorable coverage. It's truly an honest look at consumption. I'm sorry. I know I'm nuts. I know, but it's fun. It's fun. Yeah, see, people are laughing. That's what it's all about. Starting your day off right. And I'll be fair. It's kind of narcissistic. It's more for me than it is you, because I like making myself laugh. But if you want to join in, please, please come in here. Come close. The goal isn't merely favorable coverage, the White House told Axios. It's truly an honest look at consumption of the outlet's coverage. Influencers are important, but it's tough because they aren't equipped to provide consistent coverage. So the ability to cover the White House is part of the metrics. Caroline, hello. Hello. Been covering the White House press briefings more than any other. I'm not an influencer, but any other influencer out there. Who covers the press briefings like we do? Name them, please, because nobody, as far as I'm aware, knows all the people in the room and calls out, has nicknames for the people. We have nicknames. Wonder Woman, Gladiator. That's really it. But we're going to get more. But we've had the same people as nicknames for years. Okay? So, I mean, we've played with some other nicknames. Get us in the room. I got so many questions. I have so many questions. So many. And we have questions too. The legacy outlets have enjoyed until now prominent visibility and easy access to the White House press secretary should expect less prominence. We want to balance disruption with responsibility. I am totally for this. It needed to happen a long time ago. You're allowing these big media outlets that have been funded by George Soros and the Democrat Party, which we saw from Doge, have been funded to craft narratives, have no reason now to even be in that room. They're not trustworthy. If they're not even trustworthy with the questions and news that they're reporting, why on God's green earth would you allow them to continually get questions in when they're fabricating stories in real time right in front of you based on the elicitation of their questions at hand? What I mean by that is, through the formation of their question, they can actually build a narrative upon said question and then roll with it on their outlets and build upon it in real time. And we're allowing it to happen. They're basically shooting themselves in the foot by allowing that stuff to take place. So this is good. This needs to happen. And maybe it'll happen today. I don't know if there'll be a White House press briefing today. Usually it's on Tuesdays. We'll see. If it is, maybe we'll watch it. We didn't watch the last one. Well, I watched it, but you didn't with me. Maybe you watched it on your own. Maybe we all watched it on our own, okay? We also have time for targeting of tariffs here. So it's time for reciprocal tariffs. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt stood before reporters on Monday and listed off multiple tariffs, reciprocal tariffs, imposed on American products by foreign nations, arguing that the unfair trade practices need to come to an end. So I have the clip here. This is where she's outside of the White House, kind of on the driveway. And it's, I don't know if they have a term for it, but this is where all the media are, like Fox News, CNN. This is where they have their, tents. And here she is discussing the reciprocal tariffs and what people are imposing on us.
I think, first of all, unfortunately, these countries have been ripping off our country for far too long. And they've made, I think, their disdain for the American worker quite clear. If you look at the unfair trade practices that we have, 50% from the European Union on American dairy. You have a 700% tariff from Japan on American rice. You have a 100% tariff from India on American agricultural products. You have nearly a 300% tariff from Canada on American butter and American cheese. This makes it virtually impossible for American products to be imported into these markets. And it has put a lot of Americans out of business and out of work over the past several decades. So it's time for reciprocity. And it's time for a president to take historic change to do what's right for the American people. And that's going to take place on Wednesday. Well, I think
there's definitely some truth to that. So we have 50% tariff from the EU on American dairy, 700% tariff from Japan on rice, and 100% tariff from India on agricultural products. That is bonkers. That is bonkers. So good for her. And she doesn't stop there. She's also talking about the no prisoners in battle with reporter over gang member deportations. So White House press secretary unloaded on a reporter who asked during Monday's gaggle whether Donald Trump, President Trump's administration, was profiling and detaining alleged gang members solely based on their clothing. So here we go, crafting narratives again with this bullcrap, even though Tom Homan has come out and said, look, we've tracked these people. We've done the investigation. We utilize our intelligence apparatus to find them. We know exactly what they did, what type of crimes they committed, who they committed against. But this is what they're going to go with, of racial profiling or what type of clothing you're wearing, as if the MS-13 tattooed on their face wasn't enough. But here we go.
Guide that DHS is using to determine who is an enemy alien, a Trinidad or Tobago member, and deportable under the Enemy Aliens Act. It has criteria here that require 8 points to be classified as a TDA member. You can get classified by simply having certain symbols in your tattoos and wearing certain streetwear brands. That alone is enough to get someone classified as TDA and sent to El Salvador.
That's not true, actually, Andrew.
According to this document, it is.
No, according to the Department of Homeland Security and the agents, have you talked to the agents who have been putting their lives on the line to detain these foreign terrorists who have been...
Of course he hasn't, because these journalists are lazy nowadays. These people don't do anything. When was the last time you heard somebody doing, other than James O'Keefe and the Daily Wire, when was the last time you, or not James Klug, well, James Klug does great work too, investigative work slightly. He does on the street interviews. But Steven Crowder, like, when have you seen like a major news network actually do any sort of serious investigative work in decades? Like bombshell work. They don't do, or they don't talk to anybody. Are you kidding? They might have to drive somewhere, folks. They might actually have to go and sometimes even pick up the phone. God forbid. Come on. They ain't talking to fucking nobody. They talk to themselves in the mirror, and that's their anonymous source, themselves.
Terrorizing our communities. TDA is a vicious gang that has taken the lives of American women. And our agents on the front lines take deporting these people with the utmost seriousness, and there is a litany of criteria that they use to ensure that these individuals qualify as foreign terrorists and to ensure that they qualify for deportation. And the president made it incredibly clear to the American public that there would be a mass deportation campaign of not just foreign terrorists, but also illegal criminal aliens who have been wreaking havoc on American communities. And shame on you and shame on the mainstream media for trying to cover for these individuals who have
anyone.
This is
That's
a
not
vicious
fair.
gang, Andrew. This is a
I'm not
vicious
denying
gang that
I'm
has
asking a
taken the
question
lives of
based on the
American women.
document the government filed in court, which says all.
And you
someone
said
needs-
yourself there are 8 criteria on that document.
They need 8 points.
And you are questioning the
That's all
credibility of these agents who are putting their life on the line to protect your life and the life of everybody in this group and everybody across the country. And their credibility should be questioned. They finally have a president who is allowing them to do their jobs, and God bless them for doing it.
Isn't it crazy they have the balls just to continually interrupt? These aren't journalists. That is a demonstration of an activist right there. That is somebody that's going out and preaching on behalf of the progressive narrative. And this is a person that has massive issues. If you think that's respectful to interrupt the White House press secretary on the fucking front lawn of the White House, you're in somebody else's house. I'm really trying not to, as you can see, I'm really trying not to cuss. I know I did, but it gets me going because people nowadays have no respect for place. You see it in the education system with these young people doing the exact same thing, talking back to their teachers and adults. They get away with it at home. Then they grow up like this little shithead and start interrupting the White House press secretary over and over again because they're activist journalists. In the same way they're activist teachers. In the same way they're activist politicians. They're not the first thing. What I mean by that is they're not teachers and then activists outside doing whatever they want. That's free game. That's fine. Don't be an activist in the classroom. Be a journalist. Have fun. Be unbiased as much as you possibly can. Don't pretend to be unbiased, but then do your activism somewhere else, not through your journalism. It's frustrating. Tired of it. Now, speaking of illegal immigration, we got more of it here. Rubio says 17 more, baby. 17 more foreign gang terrorists deported to El Salvador. I need more, Tom. Marco, I need more. Christy Noem, I need more. Get them out of here, man. I want people safe. Democrats and Republicans, Americans. I want them safe. Secretary of State Marco Rubio said Monday that 17 more foreign gang terrorists identified as members of Tren de Aragua or MS-13 by the State Department have been deported to El Salvador. Now, folks, this is against judge orders. This is bonkers. I don't know what will happen. Rubio's announcement comes as the administration has been locked in a battle with a federal judge over President Donald Trump's ability to deport suspected members of gangs designated as terrorist networks. Rubio did not disclose who specifically has been sent to El Salvador, but said some were guilty of murder and rape. Well, you know this is going to trigger Democrats go, we got to bring him back. How could you? How could you remove somebody that was for murder and rape? They should be allowed to live here. They should be allowed to murder and rape Americans. You need to fly them back. By the way, none of that was satire. None of that was satire. The judge actually ordered the 250 gang members that they've already deported to El Salvador back into the interior of the United States. Didn't say that should be detained in the United States. Didn't say anything. I don't know if these people could be released into the United States. So you have the potential, I'm not saying this is happening, you have the potential of now judges in the United States dictating who are terrorists and who aren't, having actual illegal immigrants come into the interior of the country by court order and potentially let loose, even though they were murderers and rapists. And by the way, some of these people are murderers and rapists in their home country. They didn't even commit murder and rape here. They fled the country because of the murder and rape that they committed there. Yeah. So it doesn't even have to happen here, but they want to allow it. Last night, in a successful counterterrorism operation with our allies in El Salvador, the United States military transferred a group of 17 violent criminals from the Tren de Aragua and MS-13 organizations, including murderers and rapists, Marco Rubio announced. In order to keep the American people safe, President Trump designated Tren de Aragua and MS-13 as foreign terrorist organizations. These criminals will no longer terrorize our communities and citizens. I had no qualms with Trump doing this. No qualms. There is Dark MAGA tonight, 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. 4 p.m. Be there, be square. Now, if I'm late, that's because I was stuck at work, but I don't plan on being stuck at work. I plan on being live at 4 p.m. for the people. I'm here for the people, by the people, for the people, here on behalf of the people. So good on Trump. Now, how is this going to affect in the courts? I have no idea because he's clearly ignoring the court order. So I don't know what the outgrowths of all this are, but it needs to happen. It needs to happen. Now, some other news here really quickly. And I'll probably show more of this in Dark MAGA tonight. You have to have Rumble Premium for Dark MAGA, folks. Musk shares mind-blowing chart showing millions of non-citizens given social security numbers under Biden. Again, there is a clip here. Let me see. I might have retweeted it. Elon Musk showed a clip of non-citizens having social security number in the tunes of millions. So here's the clip here really quick.
Gracias to the stage. Can you tell them the social security database?
Here you
this
go.
is so crazy. And then you'll notice there's a strange trend here where...
Watch this.
How many?
Because we were told specifically this wasn't happening. We were told by progressive influencers. We were told by the mainstream media. We were told by every Democrat out there that citizens, non-citizens weren't getting social security numbers. And I said, bullshit. I've seen it with my own eyes. Even from doing taxes, I've seen it.
How many social security numbers were issued? Do you want to?
Yeah. So let me tell you what happened here. We started at the top of the system.
You want to talk about a lot of maybe?
We started at the top of the system, mapping the whole system of Social Security to understand where all the fraud was. And there's a lot of great people there that showed us really a lot of waste. And so that came up with a big list of stuff that we're working on. You've heard some of that already. But this is what jumped out at us. When we saw these numbers, we were like, what is this? In 21, you see 270,000 people.
Crazy.
Goes all the way to 2.1 million in 24.
God, who is president with the 2.1 million in 2024? Oh, it was Joey.
These are non-citizens that are getting Social Security numbers.
Yeah, this is a mind-blowing chart.
Yeah, just this literally blew us away. Like, we went there to find fraud, and we found this by accident. And this isn't political, by the way. My parents are immigrants. Yeah, this country's been great to us. My brother and sister all born in Spain.
So we will play more of that during Dark MAGA, but it is bonkers. And the other thing that's bonkers before we leave, folks, make sure you check out 1775 Coffee. This is stuff we're drinking every single morning. Wheat coffees for the week, and Rumble Week has never been a part of the mission. No fillers, no fraud, and no settling for mediocrity, baby. Just like 1775 Coffee. And a single origin, small farm, hand-picked, specially made, ground, grade coffee that stands for quality, free speech, and calling out the BS when it matters. That's Rumble, baby. Forget stale, mass-produced beans roasted. Just enough to hide the flaws. Dark roast hits like a Trump tariff. Medium roast keeps it bold, baby, without bitterness, and Vitality Mushroom Blend. Real energy and lasting focus. No synthetic garbage. For K-Cup pods, which you've all been asking for, is here. Whole beans or fresh ground coffee, go to 1775coffee.com. Use promo code STUDIO for 15% off. And start your mornings off with this coffee that stands for something, man. Oh, yeah. And by the way, I keep mentioning this. Every dollar you spend enters you to win a Cybertruck and $30,000 cashola. The stuff is good. I like the dark roast. I keep mentioning a lot of you like the medium roast. But head over to 1775coffee.com. Use promo code STUDIO for 15% off your order. The stuff is bomb.com. At least try it. If you don't like it, then hey, you go back to your old brand. But it is good stuff. With that being said, I don't think we'll raid anybody today. I think we'll keep it simple. Today. We'll do our old school outro. We'll be back here 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for a Dark MAGA podcast on Rumble only. You must have Rumble Premium. We'd love for you guys to join us over there if you can. And then we will open that up throughout the month for everybody to join every now and then. And then we're going to be going live a lot more this month because remember, I go on vacation in the middle of April for like a week. So you won't see me for a week. I know you'll miss me and I'll miss you. But we're going to be having a lot of content here. So make sure you hit that follow button. Hit the bell icon both. I think there is a bell icon over at Rumble, by the way. So you're notified when we go live. There's a bell button. You'll just have to find it. And no April's Fool. It is April Fool's. Holy crap. I just realized that. Well, I got nothing else for you. Patriots, have a lovely day. Pray for one another. Pray for this country. I will see you later this evening. If not, definitely tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And folks, can I gift premium to Patrick? I don't know how that works. Probably. Brad, I'm excited for tonight. Love talking Doge. We're going to be talking about tons of Doge. We'll actually probably watch the whole thing. Anyways, enough of that. I got to go to work. I love you guys. You're supposed to keep me accountable. Awesome chat. Love you. I will see you guys either later this evening or tomorrow morning. Take care, Patriots.